Hey, welcome back to the channel. I'm not gonna lie to you guys, I have absolutely disappointed you guys with the lack of videos that I have posted. I simply just fell off because I was just too lazy and tired. And I know that this grind that I'm supposed to be on to get to 100,000 subscribers, I'm not supposed to have any off days, any off weeks. I'm supposed to be go, post, record. The hard part is the fact that I just can't edit while I'm traveling. And I was traveling and I was like, oh, like, I can't do this. But right now I am in a hotel room recording this video. And this is gonna be like story times of like my EMS calls. I used to be an EMT, used to do like a lot of like 911 calls as well. So this is pretty much a nice little, story time video that you guys might enjoy. Trigger warning, there is like death, like mentions of suicide, mentions of just like a bunch of like crazy scenarios that I have been in. First and foremost, this is not like a night watch. Like if you guys watch those like EMS like shows, like when I first hopped in the ambulance, I was thinking, oh shit, like this shit about to be like a movie, like this shit about to be like so fucking crazy, like this is gonna be like night watch out here, man. We about to go crazy in this. It's reality, like it was real life. Like there's one aspect of watching the show, then another aspect of like, holy crap, like this is actually happening. But like my first story, should it be okay? This is like pretty traumatic in general, but like my first story starts off in like October of like 2021, right? It is around like midnight, around like 2 a.m., that type of time. And we're right at the hospital, my partner and I. She's been with like this ambulance service for like 20 some years, right? She's really cool. She knows what she's doing. Like she knows the exact area that we're in. I did not know that area that we were in. We were in like the North Minneapolis area. So for me, it was like very like new. Like yes, there was like a grid system, like numbers and street names. It was all like grid system, but I didn't catch on to it yet. So I was pretty still like brand new and learning. So it's about like 1 a.m., right? And we're just sitting in the ambulance waiting for a call to happen. This is like the slow time during the night shift. And I kind of was like a little sleepy, like little, like laying back and everything. And all of a sudden, we get the tone, beep. And if you work in EMS, you know what tone I'm talking about, whatever like your system uses. Whenever you get a tone, that alert, that lets you know there's a call, like you're just like oh shit, like you're just like you're up, like that tone just like gives you like anxiety pretty much. But we got that tone and a call comes in, right? Dispatcher is like, hey, we have a male down on the road, unresponsive. And we're like, okay. She gives us the address. All of a sudden, whew, lights flick on, right? And like I'm like now like alert because unresponsive male in the street. And I'm like, oh shit, like something happened, right? We get the call. We start going, right? We're like 3-4 minutes away. My partner gets us there. Whew. Lights on, sirens going. The good thing about like 1 a.m. night shift is like there's no traffic. So we were able to get there very quickly. The address, the location that we got when we got there, nobody was there. Middle of the night, no cars. We're like looking out on the street. The dispatcher, the sheet they gave us, the address that they gave us was like not correct. So we're like driving around, trying to get like more information as it like comes in, because the dispatchers are getting information from the people on the scene. So sometimes that information might not get like as quickly as we need. So like addresses or certain information, pieces of the puzzle, it's not solved yet. And that dispatcher is trying to like figure out as much as they can to get that input information to us. So while we're like driving around trying to find this guy like on the ground unresponsive, they're saying like, hey, there's like a car right next to the guy, like there's 2 people next to the car, like they're you should be looking for them. And like we're just like looking around trying to find like any parked cars with like their headlights on. Unfortunately, like it was like the wrong street, wrong address that we had gotten. However, finally the right address came in thanks to like the police or the firemen that got there on the scene first. So they were able to correct us on that address. And it was like on the middle of a busy street, 1 a.m. And we get there within like a minute as well. Because again, it's no traffic. She knows where the hell she's going. She knows all the shortcuts. She knows best. She's amazing. And we like rush there. We're like lights and sirens still. We see the fire trucks and we see police cars. And the police are starting to like tape off some of the scene as well. Oh wait, sorry, no. I'm sorry, I lied. They weren't starting to tape off the scene yet, but we get there. There's the fire trucks, and then there is the police officers there as well. And the fire crew is like pretty much checking if this guy is even responsive, has anything going on for himself, right? My partner, like this is the street. Sorry, this is the street. There's a huge like trees and like a strip of grass, right? And then there's another street, right? We get onto this side. The guy's on this side. As soon as we get close to the patient, the victim, we literally, me personally, I looked around and I was like, oh shit, like there's a huge puddle of blood and the guy is not moving. So like, I'm like looking, don't see anything. The firefighter's like checking for a pulse, and my partner was pretty much like, go get the stretcher. I'm gonna go check on the guy. And she had the Zoll machine, which checks like heartbeats and everything. She grabbed that, I grabbed the stretcher, and I get the stretcher over to the guy. We're checking for it. She throws on like the 4 leads as well, and we're checking for a pulse, and it's absolutely nothing for the guy. And it was, from what I heard, like the guy got ran over. So he was possibly crossing the street. I'm not 100% sure. Maybe it might have been like an attempted like suicide, possibly. I'm just not 100% sure what it was. But the guy walked onto the street, middle of the night, and a car just, and it was like a 30-mile-per-hour zone, right? It wasn't like a fast, you're not supposed to drive fast anyways. But some car, suppose it's like a Dodge Charger or like one of those like Hellcats or something, like drove fast down that street. Maybe that guy didn't see that car coming or what, but the guy got hit, and supposedly he got like flung into the air and landed on his like face. And unfortunately, the guy did not survive. And that was like such like a bone-chilling moment, because I was looking at the people who called 911 who found the body in the middle of the street. And it was like this mom and this daughter just driving back home, and they had to witness that traumatic scene where a guy was ran over. And that was like so shocking to me, because that was my first ever like dead body that I saw on the job, period, in life, period. So like, to me, I was like, holy shit, like this is crazy, because here's this guy who used to live a life, you know, had a life, had dreams, had aspirations, lying on the middle of the street. And the most like shocking part was when we put that white blanket over him, he was gone. And then that's when the police started to tape off the scene, and like all of a sudden like neighbors are coming out, and I'm like, holy crap, I don't think you guys even want to see this, because this guy didn't even look recognizable at all. Like, we didn't even know what ethnicity he was. Like, that's just how unrecognizable he was to us, because of just like the amount of traumatic injuries that he sustained. It was not good at all. Like, the guy even had like tire marks on his face as well. So it was not on his face, but on his chest as well, indicating that he like got ran over. So that was absolutely horrendous to witness. And my partner was just kind of like counseling me on that. She was checking in on me, like, hey, like, you okay? And I'm like, holy, you know, like, I guess so. Like, I just witnessed the most craziest thing I've ever witnessed in my like 20-some years of life. But that was pretty crazy. So yeah, that was one of the most like traumatic, shocking like stories that I had while working EMS. But like, I don't even know where to go on from here. Like, that was like I just opened up with like the most craziest story ever. But anyways, we're gonna keep going with this like no edit, no take, like continue on with this. Another story that we also had, this was like a few months into the job as well. It's like the middle of the day. It's actually not like middle, it's like 4 p.m. ish, 5 p.m. ish, right? and it's a pretty like busy suburban town that we're in. The company that I was working for, it's actually like a wide range of like areas from country to suburbs to like inner city. So like we had to be all over the place. But sorry, I had a burp. I'm not gonna edit that part out because I'm like, I need content. I need to post. I need to post story times. I need to speak about these kind of things as well, because maybe somebody's interested in this field and they're wondering like, hey, what the hell, like, what is this about? But anyways, we'll get back to the story. So it was my partner, me, I was and like a paramedic student. So the paramedic student was with my partner. They're the paramedics. I was like the EMT, just helping out on the calls. So we are just driving, going to a base from a base. So we were going to another base, and we get a tone, beep, and we get this like dispatcher tells us like, hey, this is a code 2, meaning it's like not super like lights and sirens emergent, just like, hey, get there. And then it was code 2 stage, which is pretty much like, hey, the scene is not safe, so you have to wait for the police to clear you in. So we're just driving, right? And we get that call. We're just heading to the scene. And then like a minute later, pew, the notes show, hey, code 3, run there as fast as you can. This is like an active like situation where the guy's actively trying to like end his life. So we're like, holy shit, that just like went from a guy on the train tracks and like walking on the train tracks and somebody noticing him to, holy crap, this guy is about to like end his life. Like, what in the world? So we like rush there, right? We're driving there really, really fast. We're like 5 minutes away from the scene. We get there in like 3-4 minutes because I'm like, I'm like, wait, I was the one driving. So I'm like just speeding through. I get there, right? We were like one of the first on the scene, and then there's also some police on the scene as well that was there before us. So we didn't get the clearance yet. So we heard code 2 stage, right? But we got code 3, we got upgraded, but they didn't tell us to like stage and like wait for the clearance. So we like code 3, we get there, right? And we didn't get the clearance to like go in there because it wasn't like super safe and whatnot. So we are rushing in there, and all of a sudden, as we like get the stretcher going, we got all of our bags, we got our airway bags, because this guy was like actively trying to like hang himself. So we actively we were getting like airway bags, like our Lucas, our which is like a cardiac pump. It's like a machine that does CPR pretty much. We were getting like tarps to like carry this guy like through the woods, because he went from like the rail train tracks to into the woods, like 30 yards into the woods, 40 yards into the woods, where he tried to like actively hang himself, and police were already there. There was like 2 officers there trying to like get this guy, cut him down, and like stop him from like trying to end his life. And we're like on this walkway, this pathway to the wooded area, and we're going with our stretcher, our student, and like the other paramedic was with us. So we're like moving our stretcher. Then all of a sudden, like 4 or 5 cops like just like sprint past us, and they're like, what are you guys doing? You guys weren't cleared yet. And we're like, what? Like, we didn't get that information. And they're like, just wait here. And all of a sudden the guy, they're like rushing in there because this guy's like all of a sudden like aggressive towards like the police. So they're trying to like handle this guy and get him like to calm down. And as they're trying to like get him to calm down, supposedly this guy has like a seizure. Then they're like, get in here right now. So we get our tarp. We run in there, like 40 yards into the freaking woods, and like we're there with like 6-7 cops. This guy's like having a seizure. So we like get him, pick him up, and like the cop is filling us in with like what's going on, like trying to actively kill himself, and like she had to like cut him down and everything. So we were like checking for his like airway, making sure that he's breathing. This guy's in seizure. We get him to the woods. We're like tracking him now. Like we're like carrying him and like moving him at the same time. And like we put him onto the stretcher. This guy stops seizing. Then all of a sudden he like starts seizing, and then he stops seizing again. So he's like on and off. So we like move him to our ambulance. As we're like lifting him in and like pushing him into the ambulance, this guy's like having like an active seizure. And like for some reason, I don't know where this comes from, but like his wife and like his mother-in-law are also there. So like as like his mother-in-law comes and like looks, this guy starts to like seize. So we're like, what the fuck? Like we put him in, get him into the ambulance, and like I kid you not, like A minute later, all of a sudden, this guy doesn't stop. This guy stops seizing, and he's like kind of like calmed down a bit from the whole chaotic scene of having to cut him down, run him through out of the woods. But like we like rushed him to the hospital. This was like an emergent call from the beginning, and we loaded him up. My paramedic partner and like the student were pretty much like, all right, get him in and like go. So like I'm like speeding to the hospital. We're like 10 minutes out. Get there in like 8-9 minutes. Honestly, like the speeding thing isn't like, it's not that crazy because you have to follow the law and everything. But like I'm like code 3, lights and sirens, rushing down the highway, getting to the main hospital, and we get him to the stabilization units. So there's like 4 stabilization units. It's like the most critical calls, and you have to like alert them. Like it's a green, yellow, red patient. Red patients are like trauma units, like medical emergency, strokes, and like just the worst of the worst calls. You want to get to like the stabilization units. We get him to the stabilization units. This guy all of a sudden is like all of a sudden he's like calmed down, and like he's like alert, he's talking. And supposedly after the call we got a lot more information on what was going on, and the guy quite literally was kind of like manipulating his like fiance, because his fiance like told him like, hey, I don't want to like be with you. Then this guy texts her like, I'm gonna go like end my life, I'm gonna just stop, I'm gonna like, I don't want you to leave me, blah 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 blah. So he's like trying to like manipulate her into staying with him. And his mother-in-law was like, no, like she needs to leave you, blah. And he tells her like the location he's at, and he's like, I'm gonna go end my life, blah. And that's where like the calls came in from, and that's how we were like, the police were able to find him, was through his mother-in-law and his fiance. So what the hell was I gonna say? Oh yes, so when we were loading him into the stretcher, we don't know 100% sure, because you never know if somebody's like faking it, but like it was just odd that this guy was having like so many seizures like back to back, and then like super like, just like when we get to the hospital, all of a sudden he's like everything is like normal, dandy, fine. A part of us wonders like, was he kind of like exaggerating things to like get some emotional responses from like the mother-in-law and like and his fiance? Was he manipulating them? We're just not 100% sure, but like the story kind of seems as if he's done this before as well. They were kind of like, oh, he was in a similar situation like a year or 2 ago or something, or like months ago. So it was kind of like, okay, you know, something's going on. But like at the same time, it's like, well, he's a patient and we have to take care of him no matter what. Like, no BS. Treat every patient like it's the most realest, most serious situation ever, no matter what. Because you never ever want to judge a patient and be like, oh, you're faking. Oh, stop lying. Like, you never really know. And that's like one thing that always bothered me, is like those people that are like, oh, they're faking it. But they're like, oh, they're just doing it like for attention. No. When you're in healthcare, no matter what, you take that person seriously, because if you don't take that person seriously and all of a sudden they actually like have like a serious event or a serious situation where they even like get seriously hurt or like die, that's on you. You didn't take that patient seriously. You were just la Danny, oh, this guy's faking it, no. That's on you. But yes, those were like my 2 craziest stories. Guys, this is like freaking 20 minutes long, so I gotta end this. I really do, because I want to do like more story times. This is like talk about the situations that I have been in. So maybe there's gonna be like a part 2. I'm not sure. If you've gotten this far into my story time, please like, subscribe, comment for the algorithm. I would appreciate that so much. I really would. Because I'm a small YouTuber and my goal is to get to 100,000 by the end of 2025. So with that, I might hit you guys with a part 2 of my EMS stories. We'll see. Thanks for watching.